Thank you for letting us into your home.
Oh,
first off,
coming.
all of us. We're
So much easier.
They just lowered the federal rate 0.5%.
and that means we know nothing about money. Literally. Tell me what that means and if that's a good thing.
Either.
Terrible businessman. I was talking today about guys like Tom Hanks, who are not only good actors, but you have a business sense.
Yeah.
And he's out producing. I don't do anything.
No,
I don't have any business head whatsoever.
Just so you know, we've been so excited all week that we sat in bed this morning having our many cups of coffee, watching Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Aww. Yeah.
It wasn't on, was it?
No,
we found it.
It's you just go to Apple TV and there it is. And I hadn't seen it for quite a few years, and we're singing the song. And
speaking of business, I'm supposed to own 20% of that movie, but I haven't seen any checks in 30 years.
Oh my goodness.
Did they come for a while and then stop?
No, they never came.
Oh, we'll call Tom Hanks and we're going to get a lawsuit going. Get you your money. But didn't you we're going to jump all over the place, but didn't you hurt yourself on that film?
Yes, I did. I like the other dancers who warm up. I didn't warm up before a dance number, and I'm twice their age. And I had to kick remember we were going around in the bakery?
Yes.
I stuck my foot out and tore the muscle in the back of my leg.
Oh.
We shot other stuff till I healed up.
So you were fine. You got through the old bamboo fine.
Yeah.
And you didn't, that one looked so tricky.
I never have on Broadway. The kids would be out on the stage warming up. I never warmed up. I never vocalized. Nothing. Just walk out and do it. Very unprofessional of me.
That's like Barbra Streisand. She never sings around the house. She barely warms up ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. I asked her husband, I said, so when she goes in the shower, do you just run there and stand there listening? And he goes, no, she doesn't sing in the shower. She doesn't sing.
She doesn't have to.
No,
you said that
crazy.
you told me that she goes up on a piano and goes along to tone her voice.
That's what she told me.
Okay, well.
Well, that's toning, not practicing.
Her first trip to Los Angeles many years ago, I introduced her at some hotel. I got to introduce
Coconut Grove? Was it the Coconut Grove?
Maybe. My memory is. I can't remember what I had for breakfast.
You're welcome to the club.
We almost look alike, don't we?
We do. We do.
You guys have such a similarity.
Yes.
Such similar tall, beautiful shapes, and both so graceful.
Yeah, we look like brothers.
Yeah. Well, let me jump to my origin story with you. I grew up without a television in Arizona. My mother didn't want one, so we didn't have one. My first TV I was at Stanford University. I found one on the street, lifted it up to our room, plugged it in, and tapped into some teacher's antenna, crawled out on the roof, turned it on, and it was around 11 o'clock in the morning, and it was a rerun of the Dick Van Dyke Show. And as I turned it on, it literally was you tumbling over the ottoman.
Oh, really?
And I was smitten, and I was your fan and stalker from that moment on. I remember early on when I started to do Cheers, and we'd be at a similar event.
Yeah,
I could almost feel like your eyes started to cross when you saw me coming towards you again to tell you that story, or worship at your feet. You are my hero, Dick.
So it was your introduction to TV.
You were,
yeah,
and to physical comedy. Nobody does it as well as you did it. Mm-hmm. Really, truly.
I practiced a lot as a kid. I used to go to Laurel and Hardy movies on Saturday and then come home and falling down on the grass, practicing falling. Yeah, I was prepared.
And what town was that? Where did you grow up?
Oh, in Danville, Illinois, yeah.
Didn't you get a chance to say something to Stan Laurel too?
Oh, yeah.
Where you claimed...
I started looking for my, Stan and Buster Keaton. The minute I got out here, I was looking up a phone number one day, and there it was Stan Laurel in Santa Monica, and I called him up. He knew me from the show, so I got to go out to his house and meet him, and I've got pictures, and I did the same with Buster.
Their
went out
names,
to his house in the valley.
They were in the phone book?
No, he wasn't in the phone
Oh.
book. I got him through Stan.
Stan was in the phone book, though.
Yeah.
You know, I did the eulogies at both of their funerals.
Really?
Yeah. And the one to Stan ended up in a book of the 100 best eulogies of the century by Stan.
Really?
Yeah, I
Wow.
worked hard on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember you quoted in the book you wrote that you told him, Stan, I did steal a lot of my material from you. And he just went, I know.
He did. He said, I know. That's right. I've got his derby,
Yeah.
and I've got Buster Keaton's pool cue.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look.
That had quite a history. Somebody picked it up on the camera team, I think, when he died, took it home, gave it to his uncle, and I didn't get it till not too long ago when his uncle died. And they,
I think it got lost in a card game. That's what they
was
said.
that how it
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah.
That's
So we
great.
have it now.
You also mentioned your other hero was Carl Reiner. I love that you mentioned that.
He was not only a great talent, he was one of the nicest people
Yeah.
I ever knew. He was an angel, that guy. Loved him.
How did the Dick Van Dyke Show come to be? Where did it come into your life? How was it?
Well, I was doing Bye Birdie for a year, and the pilot came up, and my agent told me it was between me and Johnny Carson to do the pilot.
Wow.
And I thought, well, and so when the Birdie was over, I took a week off, flew out here and did a pilot with Carl, and came back, and he called me and said it sold. And then the end of the first season, we got canceled.
Really?
Got canceled. We were on against Perry Como, who was on NBC, and he beat us every night. So we got canceled. Sheldon Leonard, who was the executive producer,
Right.
went down to Cincinnati to Procter & Gamble and talked them into it. He said, this show deserves another chance. And they gave us another chance. And then we ran for 5 years.
Wow.
Did they move the night? Did they move it to a different night?
During that first year, bounced around a little bit.
Yeah.
I think what was the final night? Tuesday?
I don't know. I came in with reruns.
Yeah.
That's because I didn't
Right.
didn't have the TV.
When were you born?
47.
47.
Yeah.
I got married in 48.
And had
When you think I go back to 25, I'm almost 100.
I know.
This is insane.
You were about a month old when my father's sister was born. She's about a month younger than you.
Really?
And you're both going to celebrate your 100th birthday.
Oh, how great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to have a big party.
I love the book you wrote about, we're talking about age, and how you never thought about age until somebody came along and said, write a book about age. And, but for you, it was never a thing at all.
No.
You would
no.
just live your life.
I've got another book in me by now.
Oh, several.
That was 50 years ago?
No. The Keep Moving book.
Oh, keep
It was like
moving.
Yeah,
10 I think
that
it was
was
10.
like
Yeah.
15 years
10
ago.
years ago.
Well, somebody said, to what do you attribute your age and physical condition? I said, I've always exercised. 3 days a week, we go to the gym still. 3 days a week, and I think that's it. Well, I'm not stove up like my equals.
That's one of I had met you before at events, and then we lived in Malibu for a while, Mary and I and kids and everybody, and I would go to the same gym you did, and if I got there early enough, I would see you literally work out on some weight machine, and then almost like you were doing circuit training, you would not walk to the next machine.
still does
You
that.
danced. You literally danced to the next machine. And I watched that for a couple of weeks, and finally I talked to you about your exercise, and you said you would come to the gym and work out for whatever hour, whatever it is. Then you would go home, you would swim laps for whatever, and then get back into bed and take a nap.
And then take a nap.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Good routine. Was that at Canaan?
Yes, the
Well,
upstairs kind of gym.
Right.
Yeah.
You should see the new one.
Oh, haven't been
Really
there.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
just a couple of blocks from here.
Do you do what? Elliptical stuff? What do you do? What do you work out
Well,
on?
I get down and do a lot of stretching and yoga type things, sit-ups,
Right,
and they have machines,
right.
sit-up
Does the
machines.
circuit
And
Right.
again.
yeah, something for almost every exercise.
Yeah.
And she works out too.
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell you my favorite experience in my life?
Yes.
I was 15 years old
Oh,
in Crawfordsville, Indiana. My dad had just been transferred there. I was a freshman in high school on the freshman track team, running the 100 and the 200, the high jump. Across the street from me was Wabash College. And on Saturdays, they had their track meets. So I'd go over and watch that, and our coach would be one of the officials. One day they were running against Purdue, and he came over and he said, the anchor man on the relay team twisted his ankle. You want to run it? I said, yeah, sure. I ran barefoot against Purdue, beat the guy by 5 yards.
Whoa.
Beat him by 5 yards. The Purdue guy, I'm 15. I couldn't believe it. I thought, I'm going to the Olympics. I was never that fast again. I think it was the bare feet. Makes the difference.
So bare feet was just for that moment, or did you go barefoot a lot and
No,
run
I
a lot?
didn't go barefoot after. They wouldn't let me.
He's barefoot now.
But the Africans all run
He's
barefoot.
always barefoot.
That's true.
But I was really fast.
That's another secret. You're always barefoot.
Yeah.
Your
I am
the
always
grounding.
barefoot.
The grounding.
You remember when the Fosbury flop went over 7 feet?
Yes, yes, I do. Yeah.
The first time in my life I ever swore, I said, son of a bitch, when I saw that. Because the old Western roll and
Or the scissors. When I started, it was just the scissors.
Yeah,
it
they didn't
was,
get you anywhere.
No.
And there was the Western roll and the Eastern roll.
Yeah.
But he went over backwards over 7 feet, and everybody, why didn't somebody think of that before?
That's amazing.
Now girls are jumping that high.
So how did you wait? So there are two things I want to talk about. Your voice. You were singing a cappella early on in life. Is that right?
Well, yeah, I sang with the choir in high school,
Right.
and then formed a barbershop quartet, which I still have.
Are you still doing that? I knew you did it up until, yeah.
Nobody does barbershop anymore.
Yeah.
I was looking for a new bass, can't find anybody who even heard of it.
What else do we do at the gym?
We sing duets all day.
But I play music he knows,
Right.
and I play it in the sound system, and he's singing.
That's her music I don't understand.
Yeah, so I had to learn music he knows. So I've learned thousands of songs.
She knows every 40 song there is.
They're
know
pretty
everything.
great.
Yeah,
They're
they are
pretty
great. They are.
Yeah.
But did you take dance classes early on? Did
No.
you? No.
When I first got in the business and, actually started working, I thought somebody's going to find out that I have no training and I want to be in trouble. Because I never had dancing, acting, singing, nothing. I just broke in and managed to fool everybody all these years.
Wait, so Dick, did you first go to New York and you did Bye Birdie there, or did you come to California first?
Touring with your partner, Phil.
Yeah, we had a
nightclub
record
act.
act. Another guy, local guy and me, called the Merry Mutes. Very popular in those days.
Lip sync.
Pantomiming to records, Bing Crosby and Mary Martin. We traveled all over the country as an act.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we ended up in Atlanta, Georgia, because we liked it. And we finally split up. I got a job at a television station as an announcer and doing a show. And I got a buddy of mine from the Army, from the Air Force, ended up a director at CBS and said, I'll pay your way up if you want to do an audition. So I go to New York. Anyway, it was some opera singer who had a show. And at the end of it, they held the audience over, and I did my little act. I sang a song, which I can't remember.
Once in Love with Amy?
Once in Love with Amy, with a little horseshoe.
Soft shoe.
Little horse shit.
Little horseshoe. New dance, I just admit. And I did a little monologue, and that was it. And the next morning, they called me in and said, you've got a 7-year contract. Just like that.
Wow.
Starting at $20,000 a year. That was twice what I was making. So we moved to New York, and I was the host of the morning show, the CBS morning show for a year.
With the anchor, who was the anchor? Somebody famous. There was
Walter Cronkite.
Walter Cronkite was my newsman.
That's just so astounding. I'd never heard that.
Nobody ever heard me because Dave Garroway was on NBC and took all the ratings. But Walter had just come from radio, of course. Wonderful man. You know, he did a striptease. I never saw it, but I understand it was sensational. But finally, they were going to transfer him to nighttime. And he came to me and said, Dick, what did I do? I said, you jerk, I can't fire anybody. I'm lucky to have this job. So he went to nighttime and became Walter Cronkite.
That's amazing.
He was a wonderful guy, too.
And who is your news lady?
Tell me.
Barbara Walters.
Barbara Walters. Well, she was continuity at the time.
Okay.
She was writing. Yeah.
Well, still, I mean.
So
That's
we're
amazing.
in each other's books.
Yeah.
So did you leave that 7-year contract then to go do Bye Bye Birdie or?
CBS left that contract.
He broke up with you.
They kept me for 3 years. They tried me as a game show host. I was awful. And I forget what else.
You did the pilot for Price is Right.
I did the pilot for Price is Right.
You're amazing, by
yeah.
the way.
Yeah,
I
she's-
I know everything.
She's my memory.
I
can't remember.
wish
A million.
We have a half a brain each.
Yes,
When we play
yes.
Wordle, we do it
We
together.
do it together because together we're genius, but not,
It takes
not
two of us.
separately. Yeah.
No, they called me in and got an audience off the street, and I did it, a pilot of it. And I went home, I said, the dumbest thing. People guessing how much something costs. That's a television show? That was 50 years ago. I still don't understand it.
So how did you get to Bye Bye Birdie on stage?
The CBS dropped me, and there I was on Long Island with a family and no job. So I just started going around auditioning for everything, with opera and ballet, anything. I stood in lines all day, every day. And I auditioned for Gower Champion, who directed it. And I sang Once in Love with Amy and did my little thing again. He came up and said, you've got the part.
Wow.
Wow.
And I've always thought it was because we were almost the same height, build, and everything that he would, he thought
Yeah.
And then I almost got fired out of town because I wasn't delivering. I was a wreck. You go to Philadelphia with the show and still perform for audiences, but you're still trying things.
Right.
And for some reason, I was just a nervous wreck about Broadway. And they brought a tune down for Cheetah Rivera. And she said, look, Dick hasn't anything to do in the first act. Why don't you give it to him? It was Happy Face.
Oh,
Wow.
She gave me Happy Face,
Oh my gosh.
which won me a Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what year was that?
61, something like that. Because then once I got a year there, I came straight out to Carl and we started the show. And that
Right.
was 61 to 65 or 6.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to quit the show, but Carl wanted to go on and do some movies and things.
Right.
I mean, the cast we were heartbroken. We had such fun. It was such a great group. Wasn't like coming to work at all. God, it was fun.
Oh, God.
Half those scripts were written on the floor. He'd give us a basic script, but between Rosie and Maury and me, we start throwing lines, and
Right.
yeah, that
So
was the fun of it.
There was improv in there?
A lot of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Even on the air there was.
Really?
Sometimes. Well, we had an audience, and I could never understand how can you do comedy without an audience. You need them to work with you,
I
Yeah,
found you
you're
never as good in your rehearsal or dress rehearsal as you are with the audience. It takes you
no.
to a whole new
Come up
place.
several notches.
Yeah.
And they guide you. They can change the mood
Mm-hmm.
by their reaction.
Yeah.
The longest laugh I ever got in my life was one that CBS didn't want us to do, where we thought our babies were mixed up, and the other couple turns out to be black when they walk in.
Right.
We had to cut the cameras because the audience wouldn't stop laughing. And the network was scared to death of it. Scared to death of it back in those days.
Yeah.
Oh, what a laugh. It was just great.
I got to work with Mary once She was a
Mary
delight.
Tyler
Mary
Moore.
Tyler Moore. Yeah.
You know, from day one, she just had it. She just had it. Carl picked her because of her voice. You know, she had that high-pitched ping in her voice.
Yeah.
The pilot, she was, you know, good. She played her part. But after working with Maury and Rosie and me, she picked it up. Like by the third show, she was dynamite.
Yeah.
She was the greatest. Yeah, I couldn't have picked anybody better. And I'm so happy for her. Her career went.
Yes.
And you
Yeah.
were a big part of that. You really
Yeah.
championed actually all the women that you worked with. And that wasn't true of all the male actors of your time,
Mhm.
but you
Oh
were
my
really so, you know, she had the nicest things to say about you.
Oh, Mary did?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when the show was over, I could tell the network just saw her as the wife who supported. She wasn't getting anything from the network. So we did a special called Dick Van Dyke and the Other Woman, where we showcased everything she did. Dan said she just blew the place away. The next day they called her.
And got the Mary
But we
Tyler
had to
Moore
get
show.
their
Oh,
attention.
this was after
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The network,
Yeah.
you got to nudge them a little bit.
Yeah.
They didn't get it, that she was great.
So that was through 66, the Dick Van Dyke Show. Did
Yeah.
you take time off or do Bye Bye Birdie during the summer? When did you
I
shoot?
did Bye Bye Birdie during the summer.
Wow.
Right.
We did Bye Bye Birdie, and then you left it to do the Dick Van Dyke Show, right?
But the movie.
I was
as
talking
well.
about
Oh,
the-
the movie. Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
movie.
The movie, yeah. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Don't have him talk about the movie.
Did you ever see the stage show?
No.
It just made me so angry. It was a romp on Broadway. It was just such a great hit. And they rewrote it for Anne Margaret
And Mark.
Right.
and changed all the lines, changed everything. Took out some of the songs. And it was nothing compared to the Broadway show. It just missed entirely. And the only two from the original were Paul Lynde and me, and we were both
Right.
saying, this is terrible. They really ruined it.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, can't go back and fix it. But the Broadway show was just flew.
Who played? I thought Maureen Stapleton was very funny in the movie.
She was my mother in the movie. wasn't she?
Yeah. In her squeaky shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was amazing. That was the first time I think I saw her. Yeah.
You know, she was afraid of going out in the world bothered her. She didn't like to cross the street by herself.
Oh, wow.
She had the strength, sweet as she could be.
What about the
But she had
Hollywood,
this phobia.
the Hollywood party, the rap party? Paul Lynde.
Oh, can I say these things?
Yes, you can.
You can say anything.
We were at a big long table, and Paul Lynde leans down on the table. And Margaret, I'm the only one here that doesn't want to fuck you.
That's great.
Paul was as funny as you can get.
Yes.
A nice guy, except when he drank, and then he got a little, sharp.
Was that an example of him
Yeah.
drinking
That was-
a little bit? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I thought the party for the movie was at the director's house. Everybody had finished eating. We came in the living room.
Oh, no.
Maureen was sitting on the floor with a bowl of salad.
It's like his first Hollywood party.
Oh my God. I guess everybody's dead.
You
Oh
can
my
say.
I'm not hurting anybody's feeling. Yeah.
Tell me about, I loved the movie that Carl Reiner wrote for you
Comic.
and directed, the comic.
Oh,
I thought that was outstanding,
It's
where
like
you
one of
played
his
the
favorite-
silent movie star
Yeah.
who
it didn't do anything, and people wouldn't go to see me do a
I know.
serious role.
I know.
And it wasn't really a serious role, but we would go out with a camera, a handheld 16, and look for things to do.
Right.
If a fire engine went by, I jumped on it. And we had reams of footage, unfortunately, that disappeared. Just fun things we did out in public.
Yeah.
And then we took all the film out in my backyard and dragged it over the grass to make it look old.
Oh, really? So it would project like an old movie. Oh,
Old
that's
movie.
great.
So authentic, those
We
silent
both
movies.
felt that it was a great example of that period.
Yeah.
We thought we really caught it. But the people didn't want to see it, and nobody. And what was the other one?
Nowadays, people always talk about that movie. too.
Oh, it's wonderful. And your performance is
Yeah,
astounding
it is.
of a recovering or still alcoholic. I can't remember the character.
You had a drinking problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. During it, yeah.
No, well,
no, the character you
the
played.
character you're playing.
Yeah. Was a recovering alcoholic. And
Was
that's
it?
where, yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. That's
The
And
other
Mickey
one
Rooney.
was Morning
Yes.
After that you loved.
There's a crazy guy.
Mickey Rooney.
Do
Mickey
you
was-
talk about your sobriety? Do you talk about it in your book?
Not much. It's been,
Yeah.
45, 50 years.
Right.
I went through a short period where I realized I was trapped. And I went in AA and got help right away. Went to some place where
Rehab.
you get rehab, yeah. One of those things.
You had to go to
Thank you.
rehab.
Yeah, I didn't have it for long.
Right.
What took me the longest was smoking.
Wow.
Did you ever smoke?
Yeah. It was tough. It
Oh,
took me,
God.
we both did.
Did you?
It was brutal.
That's rough.
Brutal.
We did a movie about it.
That's right.
With Norman
Yeah.
Lear.
Yeah.
What was the name
Cold
of it?
turkey.
Cold Turkey.
Yeah.
And we were doing pretty good, not smoking, but he had to direct a room full of local people. It had to be smoke filled. Everybody was smoking.
Oh,
And there was one little lady who didn't know how to do it. And Norman said, no, hold it like this. And I saw him take the draw and I saw his eyes go.
oh no.
He
Ooh.
smoked a pack that day. I should have said no, but his eyes just changed.
Yeah.
It's
I've
been a lot of fun with
never trusted people who can smoke one cigarette a day. It's like I'm one cigarette away from a pack a day. I know
Oh,
that
yeah. How do you do that? One a day?
No, I
That's
don't
like
know.
one drink a day.
Yes, that's
Tom Poston was in that movie, and he couldn't. The whole town had to quit smoking to
right.
get the money, and he couldn't stop smoking because he was also a drunk, a very rich drunk. And I don't know how many takes I had to do to get through. He just broke me up because the drinking bone is connected to the smoking bone. He said, "You see, there goes." And what do you call me, Riverman? I bet I did 12 takes, and I thought I couldn't hold it. I just kept falling apart. But he is funny in it.
Are you a giggler on set?
Yes.
She's
I'm
the
so
worst.
glad to hear it. I
Do you
am
do
the
it?
worst. I'm terrible. I humiliate myself. I get out of control.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Deacon, you know, the big guy.
Yeah.
When he was going to go up, a bead of sweat would appear, and I would know, and I would go.
Yeah. In
I would know he was
anticipation.
gonna go up,
Yeah.
and, but I'd see that bead of sweat. I couldn't stand it.
Are there outtakes from the Mary Tyler Moore show? Did anybody
the Dick
ever?
Van
Oh,
Dick
there
Van
are
Dyke.
Dick Van
Yeah, there
Dyke
are- there
showing.
are.
There are
outtakes.
some.
There's an
but
outtake reel, I think.
There is.
Oh
But
my God, I bet that's great.
on YouTube you can find it. But
Can
Carl
you?
didn't like. I heard that Carl didn't like showing that because
Because it breaks
breaks
the yeah.
reality or the
Right.
Actually, I looked at him later, and I didn't think they were all that funny. We thought, we broke up and thought
Yeah.
it was funny.
Yeah. Can we jump around a little bit more? Because when I first met you, I also heard stories of how you were building, I don't know if you built that, but building, I don't know if it was paper mache or what it was, life replicas of people that you made
There's
so
one
that so a woman could sit with this man next to her in the seat of her car.
oh.
And
It's Halloween. He makes monsters.
Yeah, I make Halloween monsters.
We're obsessed
We do a
with
Halloween a block long.
Oh
out
yeah,
here.
we're obsessed.
Thousands of people come. We're in our 40th year or
You've been doing it since the 60s, but
Yeah.
then we do, he was going to stop doing it 10 years ago. We sold all the monsters. James Cameron used to be our neighbor, and we had competing Halloweens. And he bought all of our monsters, and we said, yeah, we're going to stop. It's too much work. And then when Halloween came around, we were sad that we liked
Yeah.
the street thing.
Yeah.
So
well,
then
that's what made the marriage, Halloween and singing together.
so
It's
what-
coming pretty soon, too.
So I thought, well, what else can we do that's not a lot of work? And I love to lip sync. So I did Ursula on the steps out here.
Oh, great.
And everyone loved it. And then Dick's like, we got to get a stage. We got to get lights. That was 10 years ago. I've been doing Ursula for 10 years, and we do a live show with puppets and dancing, and he comes out if he feels like it.
We put a stage in front of the garage.
Yeah,
That's
we haven't set up
fantastic.
right now.
Lighting and everything.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
We get so
It's
many
really
kids. It's just
fun.
great.
We love it.
We open the gates from 6 to 9 so that all the kids can come in. Yeah, it's fun.
So maybe I got the mannequin thing wrong, but I do know you were into computer and CG.
CGI.
Yeah.
Didn't you get high? Didn't they let you do something professionally on a film?
A motorcycle thing of a motorcycle going off a
Diagnosis
cliff.
murder.
And I did it in Lightwave, my little
Right.
CG machine. Yeah, and they used it. So I got a credit for a
On
special
Diagnosis
effect.
Murder.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
great hobby.
Do you still play around with that?
I do. It's kind of grown past me. It's gotten so complicated.
Arlene, can we talk about how you guys met?
Sure.
I was backstage at in the green room of SAG Awards.
Right.
And I was just sitting there by myself, and she walked by. And for the first time in my life, I approached her. I just jumped up. I said, "Hi, I'm Dick," almost without thinking. And as she sat down, I introduced myself, and I was totally in love at first sight.
Wow.
And I found out she was a makeup lady, and I said, "You can come on my show." And she had one business card left. Gave it to me in my tight little fist. And I got her on the show as makeup.
A Hallmark movie.
Was that what it was? A
Yeah.
Hallmark?
But what did I say to you? The first thing I said to you.
Well, she didn't know who I was.
No, that's not true. You keep,
Well, she was
of
very
course I know
iffy.
who he is. He's Dick Van Dyke. I said I had never seen anything
She had
he was
never
in.
seen Mary Poppins.
Right.
I think she thought I was Christopher Plummer.
That's great.
No, I knew that Julie Andrews was in another movie like Sound of Music. And there was a guy in it like Christopher Plummer. So Dick was always like in my peripheral.
Yeah.
I knew who he was. I mean, he's Dick Van Dyke. But when I met him, I went, I don't know why I know who he is because the cast of Mary Tyler Moore was there to give an award for best cast at SAG Awards. So Dick said, will you watch my seat? I'm going to go get my makeup done. And I'm like, okay, I didn't believe him. And then the cast goes out. No, he sits down. And then the cast goes out to give the award. And he comes over and sits next to me. And I said, aren't you supposed to go out with them? Because I thought he was on the Mary Tyler Moore show. I was like wrong about everything. And then you said, oh, what do you do? And I said, I'm a makeup artist. I've had a million jobs, but at that night I was a makeup artist. And he said, oh, I'm doing this murder mystery thing. I might need a makeup artist. I said, oh, hasn't that been on the air for a long time? Because Diagnosis Murder had been off the air for 10 years. It was this little Hallmark. I just was wrong about everything.
Were you aware that he was looking at you?
No, not at all.
In a way, it was kind of good for me because she wasn't over-impressed or anything.
No.
I was just a guy, you know.
Doesn't sound like she was very impressed at all.
And then
It was a hard sell, I'll say that.
They're at the after party. I always go to the after party and I put my makeup away and then we go to the after party. And Dick never goes to an after party. And there's pictures of him at the, like, going into the after party, like,
Plowing
he's
through
looking
the
for
crowd.
me. And I was putting my makeup away, so I wasn't even in there yet. And then people were coming up to me at the party saying, were you talking to Dick Van Dyke? And I'm like, yeah, what? I was like, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. And then I went to work the next day. I was working at a makeup school and I told them I met Dick Van Dyke and they're like, what? So
Well, going through the crowd, my manager was with me and he kept saying, what are you doing? What is the matter with? I wouldn't tell him.
I had to find this picture because Dick is all smiles and big eyes. And then Bob, his publicist, is behind him, just like so puzzled. Like he doesn't know what he's doing.
He knows I don't go to parties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something I don't know if you wrote it in the book, but in reference to you guys getting together, it just struck me. I loved it. That was me coughing, not breaking up in tears. Sorry. Although it's a wonderful phrase. You said in reference to being a widower and then finding love again, that a happy heart is a horrible thing to waste. And I
Yeah,
just
did I say
love
that?
that. Yes, it's a quote
That's
in
a
your
good
book.
quote.
Yeah.
Aw.
But
But-
she's certainly done that for me. Kept me, alive and working and young. Yeah.
There's so many beautiful photos of the two of you around
Yeah.
here dancing and singing. You have a water slide outside. It feels
Her
like
Emmy is on the mantle there, which she won for producing a Van Dyke
For
special.
the special, yeah.
All my others are in here.
well, it feels like you two have a lot of joy together.
Oh, yeah.
The whole house.
We have so much
sings of
fun.
it.
Yeah.
So
I'm
much
assuming a
fun.
lot of laughter.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, do we laugh a lot.
Yeah. How did you two meet?
Here and there, Hollywood style,
Yeah.
married to other people. Henry Winkler, barbecue in his backyard, birthday party, at an audition. I auditioned to play Mary's husband in Cross Creek. Did not get it, thank God, because I was a mess. And she wouldn't have even seen me. And then later we made a movie together.
Oh, you
Yeah.
did work together.
Yeah.
Oh.
We
And-
did. I had just announced to everybody that would listen that I was done with love, that I look like someone who would be good at love, but I'm actually terrible at love. And I have two beautiful children. I'm finished, finite, no more. Then I work with him, then I fall in love. So, but that was 31 years ago.
Oh,
So
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
happy to be wrong about that.
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't bear to live alone. I'm not alone
Oh
at
my
all.
God.
No.
I can't
You
stand
can't
my
be
own
alone for an
company.
hour.
But I think people grow spiritually or whatever in the real big way. They grow in different ways. I have to grow in relationship. My growth comes from my relationship with Mary.
Yeah.
I can't
Emotionally,
imagine.
I mean, maturity and wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just following new paths together
Yeah,
and
that's great.
inspiring each other.
You know something I've noticed? Hitting 99. When you get to a certain age, you suddenly realize you can nail people after a couple of sentences. I can tell you who somebody is on meeting them. There are certain mannerisms, and I don't know what it is, but I can nail somebody almost immediately. And it comes, I think, with age, dealing with people.
You
It's
didn't.
interesting.
You don't think you were able to do that when you were younger?
No.
Yeah.
No, I got taken quite a lot when
Oh,
I
you
was young.
did.
You're very naive and innocent,
Yeah.
which
Innocent,
is
man.
good. Which is good. It's good to be that way.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty suspicious these days.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about you and another one of my heroes, Fred Astaire?
Mhm.
Yeah, he came to visit me on the set of Bye Birdie. And I had on my best suit. And I've got a picture with him where I look like Emmett Kelly next to him.
Yeah.
He was so well
Slight.
tailored,
Yeah.
but he liked my dancing. And it just blew me away
Wow.
that I was an amateur. He said, I like the way you move. Oh, my God.
That must have meant
Yeah.
the world.
You heard
I-
him talk on the radio about that.
Yeah. And I heard him on the radio say he liked the way he liked the kid from
West Side Story.
West Side Story. Yeah. And he said, I like the way Dick Van Dyke moved. I wish I had that recording.
And now we're trying to
Wow.
find
I have
it.
a letter that somebody sent me, a friend of Charlie Chaplin's, in which in the middle of it, he said, have you seen Dick Van Dyke? Charlie Chaplin.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I've got that pinned on the wall.
Yeah.
You have Stan Laurel letters too of him talking.
Oh, yeah. Letters from Stan.
We should have a music. Our house is too small. I have so many things that cool like that.
Yeah.
You remember Jacques Tati?
Yes. Yes. French.
I was working in Paris, and I kept trying to find him. I wanted to meet him, and they said he was a hermit, that he would come into a drugstore and take some candy and leave and not pay for it. He was
What?
known for that,
Wow.
and they just let him.
See the clip,
But
though.
I couldn't find him. He was
Yeah.
like a shadow. I never got to meet him.
The movies are like Mr. Hooley's Holiday or something.
Holiday.
Yes. And
Oh,
he
my.
wouldn't speak.
Never spoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just blew me away. He was so good.
Did you ever see Marcel Marceau?
Yes. When he was working down at in the village,
Oh,
he was appearing. I made every Wednesday matinee, every one. I'd
Wow.
go back and watch
Yeah.
him. Finally got to meet him, got asked backstage, and he turned into Henny Youngman. He did
Oh, really?
jokes with us. Yeah. That's who he It's like a release for him. But we're going to do an hour mime show together,
Yeah.
and he died on me.
Wow.
Yeah. We were going to all do mime, and I was so excited about it,
Yeah.
just to be, put up there with him. And he died at a rather young age. Yeah, I missed it. What else did I miss? People dying on me all the time.
Not much.
You're
I will
outliving
say,
everybody.
at
Outliving-
Ed Asner and I were
99
going to
Oh, yeah.
redo Odd
We
Couple.
were going to do Odd Couple
And
with
Ed died on me.
Asner.
Oh,
That was
that
one
would've
of your
been so
favorite
good.
people working with.
I loved him. I worked with him a few times.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
he was
great.
so great.
Yeah.
We did Elf together. He
Yeah.
was,
Oh,
he
yes,
was
love
Santa
Elf.
Claus in Elf. We'll talk a little bit. Can we ask you about a couple of movies like Chitty, Chitty, Bang, Bang, which
Yeah.
I love. Was that a wonderful experience?
Oh, yeah. Mary Poppins took inside of 4 months, and Chitty Bang Bang took over a year. But we had to leave England and go to Europe just to get some sun. It was
It was raining too much.
too much rain and clouds. You couldn't get any light. So we're going through what's supposed to be the English countryside and their vineyards, the French vineyards, actually. We did all that shooting in France.
Right.
Yeah, it took forever to do, but I loved every minute of it. I just loved it. Lionel,
Oh, Jeffries.
Jeffries.
Lionel Jeffries, one of my
guy, we had
heroes.
such a friendship, but he was younger than me. He played my father, and he was
Yeah.
5 years
Was
younger.
he really? Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Great cast, a lot of fun. Yeah.
Really good cast.
So, that car was a big, heavy thing. It had a 4-cylinder engine in it. So you really couldn't get going very good.
Was it like the original? Was that a real car?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's a couple of them around the country now. Yeah, it was perfect, just beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, the one from the special was a replica. There's a lot of replicas.
From the
People
special?
Just, people
Yeah.
just make
Oh,
it
yeah, it was
bang
bang
done
for,
right down to the
for
upholstery.
fun.
Everything was beautiful.
But can they go into the ocean like that
No.
one did?
Yeah. It was about 4 cylinders, and it took forever to get going. But
Yeah.
once we did, it was fun.
You know that special, the CBS special
Birthday
where
special.
we celebrated you, but it was so amazing to see all the actors there. We're so excited to be there, to be able to either perform for you
Yeah.
or talk to you or acknowledge you in some way. You have so many people whose lives you delighted and changed, but also actors who wanted to emulate you and your movement, your voice, your spirit that you put out, Dick, is just that energy of love
Yeah.
and
It
interest
comes
and
from doing what
curiosity.
you love to do.
Yeah.
You're having a good time.
Yeah.
Everything.
Right.
I didn't do anything where I really was miserable. Bye Bye Birdie, the movie, was kind of a drag because we couldn't make it what it had been.
So can I ask, because that's the second time you've said that, was your part messed with? Was it shortened? Why was it so different that you didn't like it as much as the
Well, the
musical?
Aunt Margaret part was rather small on Broadway.
On Broadway.
And they wrote special songs for her and took other songs out. And it just changed the whole
Gotcha.
pitch of everything. Yeah, Paul was really pissed all the time. But that was just kind of his nature.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's I didn't get to see the play, but it was a wonderful
For
movie.
A lot of people like the
I was
movie, and
gonna
it makes
say-
me laugh when people
People
come
who
up to
didn't
him
see the
because I know
Broadway show
how much
Yeah.
he
liked
doesn't
the
like
movie.
it.
Yeah.
So,
I'm-
but if people like it, so
I'm
just
one of those
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, just- go with it.
And where was Mary Poppins? Was that after Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
No.
No,
Or
it was before.
It was before.
Yeah, that's how Cubby Broccoli came to me about Chitty after I'd done
Right.
Poppins, thinking I'd be good for the part.
And,
But I said,
and
have you heard my
also-
British? Actually, when Sean Connery left the Bond series, Cubby wanted me to play it.
That's what I
He
was
said,
going to ask.
"Why don't
You
you
would
be
have been a
Bond?"
great
Yeah,
Bond.
I
I
love
said,
that.
"Have you heard my British accent?" He said, "Click." Yeah.
I love that you said that your dialogue coach for that was Irish and his accent wasn't any better.
Yeah. Pat O'Malley.
Pat O'Malley, who had a thick Irish accent. He came into my house one night after dinner for a couple of hours, and that was it. That was it. Yeah,
I love that.
Americans tease me a lot, but strangely enough, the British don't.
That's
They tease
great.
me a little bit, because there was no accent of any kind.
It was
it's-
charming.
it's
It was,
brilliant.
It was
It is
still
brilliant.
just one of the glorious
Fun. Oh.
performances.
Oh my God.
It was so
The singing,
good.
the dancing, 2 roles. You did 2 roles
Yeah.
that people
There's a
sometimes
couple
don't even know that.
choreographers.
Sorry,
was
I
the-
love that story too. That to play the older
The old
bank,
man.
In the bank.
The
in the-
banker.
the banker,
Yeah.
to play that part, which you came to the director or the producer and said, I think I should play it. Why don't you let me know?
Walt Disney. He
Yeah, Walt Disney. That's
Yeah.
it. You spoke to Walt Disney and he
Yeah.
said no. And then you said, well, I'll do it for nothing. It'll be free.
Right.
And he said no. And then you said, I'll pay you $7,000. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I did a screen test. I
Yeah.
made myself up and got out in front of what was the bank's house.
Right.
And sang a little song. I think what sold it, at the end of the song, I went over and pretended to pee in the bushes. That broke all walled up. He just loved it. I think that gave me the part.
That's
Yeah, and then I
great.
did an old man in what?
Mary Poppins Returns.
Yeah, that's right.
You pay a lot
With
of
Emily, that one.
Our
with
friend-
Emily,
our
yeah.
dear friend Emily.
Oh, she's so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. But I had been working with a young couple,
Oh, Dee
Dee
Wood
and Mark.
and Mark Bro.
a couple who had been working with me on the show for a couple of dance numbers, and I mentioned them to Walt. He said, "Do you know anybody?" I said, "I think these kids are good." So he hired them. They did that, and then they did Chitty Bang Bang with me.
Wow.
And then the
Yeah,
Sherman
they-
brothers wrote both.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they came up with so
Scores.
many, wore me out.
And was working with Julie just glorious.
She's a sweetheart. But a lady through and through. She really is a British lady. She doesn't let down her hair very often.
I hear she does.
I'm sure she does. The opening number in Chitty, Me Old Bamboo,
Yes.
where we have to jump over the stick and down.
Yes.
Every take, one guy would miss. We did 24 or 5 takes.
Wow.
And I made it every time, and these guys, they were half my age. But you'll notice that I catch it on my heel and go, and I push it through because I knew I couldn't do another one.
And we just watched that this morning. And I think it's one take. It's just one frame. That whole dance, they don't cut into it.
No, they
So
don't cut.
It's just you
You just keep
dancing.
going.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you had done it 22 more times than the one we saw.
Yeah.
That was the 23rd take.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. It's
And then we
people
were at the
should watch
thing,
it.
we're on the stage and we're doing a twist thing. 2 of the dancers actually split something doing that step.
This with the leg going like that.
Yeah. I can't know what they
And
call
then the
it.
thing where they go back and forth and you're
I
jumping
loved
in.
that stuff.
Oh my
I just
God.
loved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't study dancing when I was a
You,
kid.
you wrote
Because-
that was the hardest dance you'd ever
Oh, yeah.
do. Yeah.
I think it's better that you didn't because you're unique.
That's
If you
right.
would have trained, they would have said, stop doing that.
You're right.
And you would have been
I
like
would have done it
everybody
the
else.
right way, and I
so
would.
it's better that you didn't.
Yeah.
Tell me about this gentleman behind us.
Peering over your shoulder.
How did
Never
you
that tall?
how did you get that? Was that in the movie or no?
This is
Oh.
from the movie ride, the
From
Disney World?
Disney
Oh,
World.
Disney.
Yeah.
and they were closing it down, and they asked us if we wanted his chimney sweep. We're like, yes.
Yeah.
How nice. How nice.
And then it
they
came
are.
in with a chimney. And we said, well, and he was sitting on the chimney, and we said, well, we have nowhere to put that, so we got it made into a standing. There he is.
I know we said we'd only be here for a little while, but I have to mention a show I was doing called Becker, where you came in and played my father.
Oh my God, that's right.
And it was, I clearly I worship you. And I told you were the beginning of this. It was even before I started acting that I saw you trip over the ottoman.
Almighty.
But then you played my father, and I think the rest of the cast absolutely sucked that week because we never got to rehearse. We just asked you questions. Tell us more stories. Tell us
really?
more
Is that what we
stories.
did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, that my
You were
memory.
great.
That's right. We did do a show.
Yeah.
I
Can you believe that?
never saw him more excited, more moved, more honored than the week he got to work with you.
The funny thing is you get to an age when you really don't care how you look anymore. You have to keep in mind, I might get a job. So I have to keep trimming the beard and trying to look nice.
We only lose weight and get into shape and really exercise when there's a movie part that just came around the corner. Then it's like, oh boy.
You're really with it. That's right. But a lot of people are just so stiff and everything from not moving. And it's so easy. Get in the water.
Yep.
Did you see my slide out there?
Mary spotted it right away.
I love the water slide, by the way.
Oh, my grandkids go crazy.
I bet.
Because it's fast. It just
Very
zooms
fast,
them.
yeah.
I can't imagine outliving all your friends. I know the answer to why you're so happy and cheerful. It's you, Arlene, would be my guess.
Exactly.
But it must be hard not to be depressed about loss and grief.
Yeah, every one of them. All my guys from my hometown are gone. Everybody I knew here, all my buddies are gone. Every one.
Yeah.
Bob Newhart was the last. And there's just nobody to even pick up the phone and call. Yeah,
Right.
I hate that. So I'm trying to make younger friends.
You got two here.
You got two.
I don't know how younger we are, but
Not that much younger. But was it hard when you were first together for you with the age difference? Not so much what you felt, but what people projected onto you.
I feel like everyone was happy about it. It was weird how I think if it wasn't Dick Van Dyke, he's kind of an easy sell. I don't know.
Yeah.
And he's so youthful.
And people were happy for him.
Happy for him. Yeah. So it was, they wanted to see him happy. And I don't know, just, it never really was a big issue.
Yeah.
Thank God. I mean, I was terrified when it, came out. I think there was one article when he was doing his Lucky Life tour and there was like a mention of me. I was like, oh my God. I was just always like thinking it was going to be all this bad.
Well, I tell you, I'm so happy for my friend Dick Van Dyke.
Oh,
I get my coffee in bed every morning.
Hey, so does she.
So do
she.
It's a small thing, but it's very important.
I say thank you.
It means a lot.
Every single cup of coffee. I'm so grateful for. I never let it slide.
Are you a black or do you like a little sweetener?
I like sugar in it.
5 cubes of sugar.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah,
I like
love
my sugar.
And a little oat milk or creamer or what?
No.
You just black, just sugar and black. Wow.
Yeah. She's good with crowds too. Sometimes
Oh my God.
You had to come by on Halloween. You really should.
Oh my gosh, it sounds
Yeah,
like
It is
it.
such
We go
fun.
crazy, yeah.
You can be a monster if you want. Or
Have you ever been in a horror movie, either one of you?
I did the original Creep Show.
you did.
Oh.
Yeah. Stephen King, George Romero, and I get killed by Leslie Nielsen.
Oh, wow.
Leslie
Before
Nielsen, who
he was
had, by the way, as in life, had a handheld, pardon my whatever,
Yes.
fart machine.
Yes, I heard
And
about
he was relentless. We actually got asked to get off a plane because we were sitting in first class and we had been boarded first. And every person who came by, he'd squeeze off a handheld fart. And finally, he was asked to stop and he wouldn't. So we were asked to get off the plane.
Dudley Moore had.
I'd heard that story.
Yeah,
He was
Dudley
a guy
Moore had
who
one.
wasn't really funny, but they made him.
Oh my
funny.
God. Airplane
Yeah,
is one of the
that's
best
such a good movie.
movies.
No.
Airplane.
And the second one was Phew.
Yeah, didn't quite.
Airplane 2 was nothing.
Yeah.
And the first one was hysterical.
You still
I
watch
love
it and
that.
see new things in it.
Boy, this is great. We never have any company or
Yeah,
anything.
it's so nice.
It's wonderful. You made our day.
Well,
made our day.
our year because this was This was really special.
So you're not that far away, are you?
No.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, you got to come by more often.
Yeah.
Do you imbibe alcohol still or no?
No.
What am I saying? I just did that whole thing. Well, we don't either.
Been there, done
Look at all
that.
the alcohol we have here.
I
People
can't
keep
believe it.
giving
We
us
have booze here.
alcohol.
Yeah. Would you like a little drinky, Dick?
Just
Sorry.
a little bit, right?
Can't believe
It won't
that.
hurt you. You
Way
have
to
though, but
go.
you have drank a little.
That'll be
wine.
the edit.
You have had a little wine, like if he wants, if a little, but he does. He's beyond.
Not to worry. That just
Addiction.
was edited out of this.
And then Dick
Can't
is-
believe I
goes
said
back
that.
to rehab.
I had rehab in a place downtown called the
Midnight Mission.
Midnight Mission, which is one of the best in the world. I spent a couple of weeks there and sobered up. And I used to go down a lot, and visit the people. But since COVID, I've gotten a little leery
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
I used to go just table hop on Sunday to pass out
The Midnight
candy and
Mission,
stuff.
homeless. It's a homeless.
Right.
Yeah, and mostly homeless, of which there are a lot more.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There were people with kids living in their cars. You don't know how
Yeah.
many of those there are. It's insane. I remember the Depression, there were a lot of guys we call tramps come to the back door for a handout, but there weren't that many of them. They all hung out down at the railroad tracks. But there's so many more now
Wasn't
than there
your
ever were at the Depression.
wasn't your grandfather a railroad man?
He worked in the shop at the
Okay.
CNEI, Chicago and Eastern Illinois Railroad, and he was slight like I am, but he had huge forearms from working things. I thought they got Popeye from him because I saw Popeye. I said, "It's Grandpa."
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a slight little man, big arms from all that kind of work
Right.
He was your biggest influence.
on me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a lot of grandparents and great grandparents on both sides. A lot of long-lived people, and I'm the one that's lived the longest now.
Wow.
My mom made it just short of 96. So, yeah, I've got them all beat.
Is your background, is it from Holland?
The Netherlands.
Yeah.
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 Same as
Van-
me.
yeah,
Yes.
Holland.
Steenburgen is too.
Van Dyke. Yeah, I went to Amsterdam once, and the phone book is nothing but Van Dyke.
And you say you're half Irish? Is that what you say?
McCord. That's Irish, isn't it?
Sounds
my mother's
right to
maiden
me.
name.
Well, I'm 100%. All my family's from Ireland, and you always say that
See,
you're half Irish.
MAC is Scottish, and just MC, I think, is Irish. I think.
Oh, now
Right.
you're backing up on your claims.
Well, I'm half Irish.
You've been so generous with
Yes.
us. Thank
Thank
you,
you
both
I
of
love
you.
to talk about
Sure.
You
myself.
both.
Yeah. Hey, we're all so happy that we got to be here. Really. Yeah.
We'll be right back after these words.
Yeah, I don't-